Well, this is Mickey the Putney Oracle from Bendover's Raised on Radio with the cataclysmic shout out to all the English living in the Orber Valley and everyone who listens to the show from around the world. Now, I'm almost hyperventilating at the moment because I'm off to Kingston College to interview Bethany and Ande Hunter, singer and guitarist of fantastic new up-and-coming band As December Falls. Now listen up, troops. There's a story to be told here. Now, I was on Facebook aimlessly browsing one night when I came across an advert for a free signed compilation album called Essentials by As December Falls. Now, usually, 9 times out of 10, I'd view an offer like this as a cheap gimmick and I'd scroll straight past. But for some reason, I liked the look of the band and I thought I'd take the risk. After a click or two, I received an email with a download of Essentials and a link to their new album, Everything's on Fire But I'm Fine. But I thought to myself, well, it's 2 albums for the price of 1. I might as well indulge myself, and I'm supporting a young band at the same time. What I wasn't prepared for was the torrent of ferocious intensity that hit me. And I realised that the only way out was to buy the first 3 albums as well. Although the album isn't classic rock per se, the impact of Essentials left an indelible imprint on my mind. The songs are high octane, the energy of the band is frightening, clever lyrics are punctuated with raw emotion, and Bethany's exquisite voice tops it all off. However, Everything's on Fire is a drastic change of direction to a glorious, foreboding heavy rock style that I love passionately. The relentless energy and attack throughout the entire album is devastating. On reflection, the debut album reminds me of American New Wave, except for Ride, which is a more rock-orientated song, and I Don't Mind, a pleasant little ballad. The second album, Happier, is more refined, with I Don't Feel Like Feeling Great, a catchy audience sing-along with a great hook, and the title track, which is a beautifully sensitive song. The third album, Join the Club, announces the arrival of a polished melodic rock band with a harder edge, capable of writing hits like Honey, Carousel, Mayday and Home. But Everything's on Fire is off the Richter scale. It has a deliciously dark gothic atmosphere, and Andy's guitar solo on Ready, Set, Go even has a Middle Eastern feel to it. This album is quite magnificent. Anyway, I'm spouting terrible shizer now, so I best get down to Kingston before I deteriorate any further. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce the arrival of Bethany and Ande Hunter, the newlyweds from Nottingham. How are you?
Good.
We're great, thank you.
And when were you married?
Not really newlyweds. 2019, so 6 years ago now.
That's newlyweds in my book.
Yeah,
I should like to also announce that we are joined by the bass player, Timmy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. An unexpected bonus for the listeners on Bendover's Raised on Radio. What's it like having your wife, husband in the band?
it's relatively easy, isn't it?
I think it's fine because we were in the band before we were married,
together,
before we were together. So it's just sort of carried on business as usual.
Yeah. If anything, it makes it easier, doesn't it? Yeah, it's good time.
Okay, lovely. Okay, down to business, as you said, business as usual. How was the first part of the tour?
Oh, it was good. It was sick. We played some of the biggest venues we've ever done.
Yeah.
Sold out some of the biggest
bucket
rooms.
list venues
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. We filmed one of the shows for a live DVD that will be coming out this year, which is exciting. We're just going through mixed revisions and edits for the footage, and it looks and it sounds amazing. So I'm really stoked to be releasing.
Was that at Rock City?
It was. Yeah.
I have a little story about Rock City. I'll tell you afterwards.
Nice.
No, it's not one of those stories, but it's just the irony of it all. I know most of the venues sold out, because obviously I check up on you guys, but what would you say was the overall reaction you got from the audiences?
I think for me, this tour, well, the first half of the tour, I guess, it really felt like something different. Like it was the first time that we played a lot of places, like Paris and things.
Yeah.
And when we came on stage, and our first song that we played was Everything on Fire But I'm Fine, and having those room filled with people just screaming your words back at you, but I don't think I was expecting quite the reaction, but it felt like a level up compared to our last headline tour. It was just a whole new level of crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a very good time.
I know what you mean, because I was at the Electric Ballroom and it was dynamite.
Yes.
Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
What was it like for you?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
That was our biggest London show to date. And one of the most fun. We've done.
We had 10% of the crowd.
Yeah, 10% of the crowd came over the barrier crowd surfing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't spot that.
And we hadn't warned security, and they were very annoyed. Well, I mean, we weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
They weren't annoyed. They asked us in
we were like,
the security briefing, and we were like, we normally get maybe like four or five
crowd surfers.
whenever we promote it.
Yeah.
10% of the crowd came over in one song,
Yeah.
and they were like, yeah, that's more than 4 or 5. I was like,
You've released 4 studio albums. You're selling all sorts of merchandise, touring all over the place. How on earth do you fit it all in and find time to write new material?
We don't really. We just don't really stop. And like, Timmy and I both have part-time jobs as well. Well, we've recently gone down to part-time. That's a new thing as of this month. Before that, we were working full-time jobs.
Yes, I read your post.
So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how we've managed to fit in everything over the last few years.
I think it's because we don't really take breaks.
No.
Like we finish something and we go
Straight into the next thing.
instantly
straight
on to
into the next thing. Like I feel like some of our artists, maybe they'll put out a record and do a tour, and then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go home for a couple of months and just have a bit of downtime. Like we kind of get home from a tour and it's like, right, straight into the next record or the next writing session or whatever crazy scheme we're working on at the time.
Yeah.
if you think that tour ended in November, we announced our upcoming tour 2 days
the week
after we got back. We've already recorded a new song. We've already recorded a new music video.
And we'd already recorded Flame Tide.
Yeah,
which
and
was
we already
released
had
in
Flame Tide that was released
October.
while we were on tour.
November,
Yeah, it never ends.
It never ends. We're just always working on something new. Yeah.
Right, okay. You've got to be careful though, because, as I know, it's very, very easy to burn out. So look after yourselves.
For sure.
That's from an older man, a caring fan, Now you guys covered, I think we're alone now, the 1967 Tommy James and Shondel's number, and uploaded it onto YouTube about 6 years ago, yeah?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
We were obsessed with Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
And that song was featured in like episode 3 or 4 in the first season, where he's dancing around the house.
Because in the latest season of
Stranger Things, they also
she had
brought
the Tiffany version, didn't she?
Yeah.
So it was quite cute, but it came back around again.
Yeah, and Netflix apparently loves that song. So yeah, we were obsessed with that song from Umbrella Academy. We're like, we need to cover that and do a rock version of it. And then we filmed the music video. On the way to the music video, Beth and I got into a car crash, and I wrote off my car. And so we then had to scrap that day and then film it on another day. But that's another.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's one I want to ask you at the moment. What I will mention, although I've not scripted it, I will mention that there was another song you did that's on YouTube 10 years ago you posted, and you had long, beautiful brown hair.
Yep.
You'll remember the song, I can't remember it.
Was it
Tell us about
Taylor
it.
Swift cover?
It might be the Taylor Swift one. It's either that or it might be.
You were in a maze.
Oh,
it's
that's
Capture.
That's Capture. That was our first ever real single with a proper music video. That was the first single that was a band we actually started seeing any traction from it. Got played on Scuzz TV back in the day.
I think they are the only videos when I actually have brown hair in it.
Yeah.
But which is crazy because I'm naturally blonde, and then I dyed it brown, and then now I've done pink, and then blue, and
Yeah, Capture was one of the first songs we ever really wrote as a band.
Yeah. Okay.
Early track.
You've been described as an emo band, but it's not a tag that I personally like, and I think you've long surpassed that anyway. What do you think?
I think genres are made up anyway.
Yeah.
We tend to use them, if I'm brutally honest, we use them on social media to attract. One, it gets comments because either because people will say, oh, this isn't actually emo, this is more like alternative punk, and then they'll boost engagement, and then other people will be like, oh no, this definitely is emo music.
It's because the lyrics are emo.
It's because the lyrics are emo, yeah.
We're like, hi, but we're...
But there's so many mixtures in our music, like, you know, there's some metal, there's some pop, there's like some pop punk in there, like it's a whole weird amalgamation.
Yeah.
I think like emo is just such a huge
broad
umbrella of like, you know, like there's so many different, like you can class so many different types of music as emo, like I think, you know, some of our songs and, you know, some of the lyrics and stuff will definitely fall into that category, but then, yeah, like Andy said, we got kind of like metal influences, like we kind of got some more like electronic features in the new stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's a particularly negative thing when people say emo, like, and I don't think we take it as like a negative thing.
No, we say it all the time. Yeah, we say it ourselves all the time. Yeah. I think for me, it's like really emo for us. The meaning of it is like that kind of sound from like the mid 2000s to like the mid 10 years on, where it was like, you know,
emo to me is
Mike Hem, Paramore, like that kind of like the Used, that like that era of like rock music that we grew up listening to and we loved, and like that's really what influenced us the most. And so that's why we say that term, because then some people can like associate and go, oh, okay, it kind of fits in that realm, even though like sonically it is very different.
On that point, there's a good point Timmy made there, because what I'm going to say now is, this is what I've seen. You've progressed from the fresh, raw, self-titled debut album to the more refined, happier, then the harder-edged Join the Club, which is packed with real bangers like Honey, Carousel, Mayday and Home, all huge hits in my view. But the latest album is a world apart compared to all that's gone before. It's deep, dark, tense, powerful, emotional and atmospheric. It has catchy songs, clever lyrics, an exotic voice, excellent musicianship, top quality production, perfect track listing and relentless energy. And it covers heartbreak, tears, passion and fire, anger, rage, love and hate, turmoil, resignation, yearning, sensitivity, character, resilience, inner strength, optimism and hope. Everything's on Fire is a classic album to me and deserves to be a monster in the charts. Was this the plan? You know, to these changes from album to album, or was it a natural progression?
I think with this album it's I think we've had to rush all of our other ones, I'd say. Whereas
financially we've always been very poor. So like, you know, the first album we recorded in a week in a garage in London. The second album we recorded in 2 weeks in an actual studio. And then the third album we recorded in our house. But we spent more time on it. We had like probably 3 or 4 weeks.
We had more time, but it's a living room.
Yes.
You know?
Whereas this time we had time and a real studio. So yeah, like, as the band's got bigger, we've made more money, which we've been able to then spend on actually making better records. And I like to think the songwriting's got better as well. As,
definitely.
You know, we've been doing this 10 years. You hope you're not going to get worse.
The only question I've got, and it's not a question really, it's more a thought, you know, this album is huge to me, right? How will you go forward from it when the time comes? Because if it's a masterpiece, or it's stratospheric, what do you do then? Have you got something in your minds ready to go, or are you just going to just run with it?
I think we just need to stay in our own lane and just keep doing, keep going. And I think that's where a lot of bands can sometimes maybe fall down a little bit, because they get so panicked and worked up that their next thing isn't going to be as good as the thing before. Whereas I feel like if we just keep moving forward, like maybe our next single isn't the next Therapy, but the one after might be. And it just, I think we just got to keep going and keep doing what we're doing. We've got lots of like little ideas that we want to incorporate into the next album to just make it a bit more. We want to add like just a bit more lore for the super fans, but also that all of the songs can stand alone on their own. And I think that's what we're going to attempt to do on the next album, isn't it?
A bit of world building.
I think we've kind of got to a place now as well where we don't really have any expectations as to what As December Falls should be. So there's no, you know, because there's no expectations as to what it should sound like, there's also no limits, which makes it quite easy for us to kind of explore different sounds and get inspired by lots of different things. So yeah, I think it's quite easy for us to kind of like just hit the ground running and start writing again and see what happens, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the reason I asked that is because, I mean, you know, I've just given you a big, glorious example of what I think about what you've done with this album, and like, I'm thinking, well, where do they go from here? But you guys have obviously like really know what you're doing and you're prepared for that move anyway.
I wouldn't say we know what we're doing.
Okay, Beth, your lyrics are extremely powerful and very emotional, but something that strikes me are the little nuances in the pronunciation of some of your words and how you use your eyes when you sing in the videos. Are you aware of those little attributes, as it were?
I mean, I guess so, to a certain extent. I think I've just got very good at being in front of the camera now.
Again, 10 years.
Yeah, like it's been 10 years of people like pointing cameras in my face and stuff, and I've just got used to, like, I know the bits that videographers choose to use. So yeah. So I've just got used to like sort of hamming those bits up a little bit. And I do a lot of what I do as a job, like obviously I also Twitch stream, I also have my Patreon and things like that. So everything I do is like facing the fans, and people see me all the time. So I'm just very used to being in front of the camera now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, you know, I know that from friends of mine that make films, that to get a close-up and get a 3 or 4 second eye shot, it's very difficult. So I wondered if you'd had any sort of like acting training or anything like that. So.
Nothing. I wish I could say I had, but no. If you saw me actually try and act, then you'd know that I had zero acting training.
I'm amazed because you do it so well.
Oh, thank you.
Right. Okay, so what I'd like to do now, if it's okay, is ask you guys a few questions on behalf of our listeners in Spain. And it doesn't matter who answers and in what order. Can you give us an insight into your background?
In terms of what's a band? I assume it's a band.
Yeah, well, it's a question that I pose to individual people.
Ooh, okay. So like
Go on, Tim.
Like what kind of where we grew up and stuff? Or?
Yeah, why not? Whatever you think.
Background is.
I think because this is going out to Spain, I think you should go first.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
That is a good point. I am half Spanish. My mum is Spanish.
Really?
I spent 4 years living in Madrid from when I was 10 to 14, and I moved back to the UK, did school, went to university, met Timmy at the age of like 16, playing terrible shows in Nottingham in different bands, and then Timmy hit me up when I was about, it was after university. Timmy hit me up and was like, "Oh, I'm putting together this one last shot," is how he worded it.
One last shot
at making it in the music industry. Yeah. Would you be interested in playing guitar? And I went, absolutely not. And then Timmy was like, "Look, we need we can't find a session guitarist. Well, we can't find a lead guitarist. Would you mind doing session work on the EP?" And then I came in for the recording of that, and I never left. And here we are, 10 years later.
Not a bad shot, Tim.
Not bad.
Hey, looking back now.
Shot, yeah.
Still going.
What made you ask?
Still our last shot.
What made you ask Andy? Sorry, I'm interviewing now.
No, you carry on. Carry on.
I don't know. I just thought of a bunch of people I went through my little like book of people that I know essentially, which at the time wasn't as big as it is now. But
done.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking of people. I was trying to think of people that I knew that I'd get on with, and like Andy said, we used to play shows, and like a little background is like I have zero interest in playing the guitar. Like to me, it's just bass guitar with like a few more strings. It's just really spicy and like. So I was like, I just want somebody to take the reins on that, and me and Andy grew up together playing shows and stuff, and he does basically just solo stuff, and just like that's his life, he just plays the guitar.
I think that really works. Like I think you're an integral part to ADF sound, because we are like this emo rock pop punk genreless band, and then
with 80s lead guitar.
It just works, doesn't it?
It does just work.
Yeah.
Your turn.
My turn?
Yeah. Bit of your background, please.
My background. I was I feel like I grew up I was kind of like a fringe friend of like loads of different groups of people, so I was never really in a core group of friends. I was always like flitting between like, so I grew up dancing, so I was always between the dance kids, the music kids, the popular kids, the nerdy kids. Like I was very much accepted by all groups. My favourite place to be was the music room though, and when I had to choose what I wanted to take for my GCSEs, my mum encouraged me to take music. She was, and I was like, I can't take music, I can't play an instrument. She was like, you can sing. I was like, I can't sing, I've never sang in my life. She was like, I hear you in your bedroom, go and do it. And when you chose music for GCSEs at my school, they then like gave you musical lessons. And I started having vocal lessons, and I was like, hey, I actually really like this. And I did a few acoustic gigs. I was in like a couple of like pub style bands, like just doing covers. And then I got a message from Timmy on Facebook because you or your friend or something had seen me at like a really terrible pub festival thing. And he sent me a message saying, hey, can you come in and audition for my band? And I was like, I guess. And I'd literally just got back from New Zealand for like a day or something. And I came in and I sung Fall Out Boy's Sugar We're Going Down in the studio. And then 2 days later, I got a little text saying, hey, you're in. And I was like, oh, fabulous. Then the rest is history. But like, I feel like you guys really, like you played like the so-called like terrible venues of like Knots, like to grow up to like get to the
you
level.
Skipped it all.
Whereas I feel like I kind of skipped it and I just came in and was like, oh hi, I'm here to sing in Rock City. Yeah, so that's me really. Grew up dancing, ended up singing. Now it was really funny because when I was growing up, I was really confident with like dancing in front of everyone, but singing would have me so nervous. Now I will sing in front of everyone and you get me to dance and absolutely not, it's not happening. It's one or the other that I can be good at.
Well, on that note, we should say thank you to Timmy and thank you to Bethany's mum. Else we wouldn't be sitting here now having this wonderful conversation. Okay, Timmy, from your end, who are your heroes? And it can be anybody you like. It doesn't have to be a guitar player or bass player or anything, you know.
Heroes. Oh, I don't know. I mean, like musically, like I tell people this all the time. I kind of grew up on like the school of Tom DeLonge and Blink and like all of those kind of bands. So you know, like definitely kind of, definitely Tom, I would say, and the Blink guys. I'm not just having like a blank on people that I admire and like respect, and there are so many of them. I just
You're not the only one. It happens a lot when I ask this question. That's why I keep asking it.
Yeah. You know what, like, weird one, like, to shout out to all the engineers and people behind, like, the Apollo rockets, because that's pretty cool. Why not? Like, that was insane. It's like people to, like, the moon on, like, less, like, technology was, like, worse than, like, our
Is
phones.
this just live inspiration?
That's, like, pretty cool. So shout out to all those people.
Listen, whatever floats your boat.
That's true.
Whatever
does love
flies your
space.
rocket.
Yeah, whatever flies your rocket.
Some of the people I ask this question to say their dad, their mum, you know, all sorts. So it's about you. It's what do you think? You know, who are your heroes?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like people.
Okay, if I go to Beth, and then if you think of one, just jump in, yeah? Brilliant.
Go for it.
I have a few. So like, my main, this is really cheesy, but I'm just gonna say it anyway, would probably be my oldest sister Gemma, because without her, like, she bought me like my first hymn t-shirt when I was 8 years old. She used to put on like Slipknot or Limp Bizkit in the car, like when we were on the way to school, like, and I really think she's the one who got me into rock, and she's the reason why I grew up as like an alternative kid, because she was a grab at school, like wore one of those really long like leather Matrix jackets and stuff. And I think without her I wouldn't be as into music as I am, so that's my cheesy answer. And then musician wise, I'm very much as I absolutely love Gerard Way and Hayley Williams and those great singers, I will say, when I was younger, most of my influences to like get me singing, get me learning singing was like Christina Aguilera and Gwen Stefani, a lot of Freddie Mercury and people like that, because I really think they taught me the jazzy underside of my voice, which allowed me to be able to do the little runs and things, which I think is why my voice is distinct to this day. Well, that's what I don't know. I might be completely wrong, but yes, I'm going to go with...
Thank you.
I have loads, sorry.
Andy?
Music-wise, definitely like guitarists like Slash and Jimmy Page and like, you know, the 70s and 80s rock heroes. It's definitely a huge influence on my early guitar playing. My cousin Sam, when I was 14, was actually the one that got me into guitar. Had this beat-up classical guitar that I had from when I was a kid.
It's always a family member.
It's always a family member, and he tuned it up and he taught me how to play the riff for Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was like, oh my god, my guitar can actually make a noise like that. He's like, yeah dude, like, you know, here's how you do it. And I've been addicted ever since to playing guitar, so props to Sam for showing me how to play that, because otherwise, again, might not be here.
I actually met Jimmy Page twice.
Nice.
Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
Very jealous.
So, briefly, who do you guys listen to at home then?
Bit of a mix, to be
I go
honest.
through phases.
You do, yeah.
I go through real, like, and they're crazy phases. Like, as in 1 week I'll be listening to just like Architects non-stop. Lately I've been obsessed with Poppy.
Yes, you have.
But in the last like week I've non-stop been listening to Aurora, which is on the completely different scale of it. So yeah, it's very, very varied for me. But yeah, currently Aurora and like any lo-fi kind of chill vibe. But yeah.
Tim?
So I'm kind of like that. Like I have like my anchors, like Blink and you know people like that. But then I also go through like phases. So I've been listening to a guy called PT USA now for about 2 years or something like that. He's really good. There's a band called All Get Out, which I'm massively into. They've got some amazing guitar tones, and the lyrics are just great. And then, you know, yeah, there's some of like the old school ones, like Take It Back Sunday, you know, some of the Midwest stuff like Modern Baseball, American Football, The Wonder Years, they love those guys. Yeah, loads of stuff.
Andy?
I'm terrible in that how I consume music is...
It's the worst way.
I have a giant playlist of all my favourite songs. There's like nearly 4,000 tracks in there. And I just listen to that, and then I just put it on random. So I don't. It's rare that I sit down and listen to a whole record
You
back to back.
don't even put it on the shuffle where it gives you like new songs to
No,
listen to.
I don't.
You just listen to the same song,
yes.
which like is fine. But
I'm always adding to it.
I
Songs
like
always
having-
make the cut.
I like having the Spotify one where it's like, oh, you might like this, and then if it flows naturally, I add it in.
So yeah, sometimes I'll then check out like Discover Weekly and playlists like that, and then again, if I'm discovering new music, then they'll end up in the master playlist. And then whenever I'm driving, that's.
I feel
that's
like
what
you
I'm playing.
discover a lot of bands on TikTok
I do.
as well.
I do.
So Andy does all of our social media posting.
And because of that,
because he's
yeah.
always on TikTok of seeing, like whenever he gets the bands that hit for him on social media,
Yes.
he's like, they're going in.
Yeah.
Like,
So Charlotte Sands is how I found Charlotte Sands, Taylor Acorn, Lolo, South Arcade's how I initially heard
what was
those
that
guys.
funk band that you keep listening to?
Father of
My
Peace.
Life.
Yes.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, they're so sick. They're kind of like a funkier System of a Down kind of
Yeah.
jam, but like not as heavy.
Yeah.
But I love those guys so much. They are so sick. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that's how I listen to music these days.
Lovely, thank you. Who named the band and who created the logo?
Ooh, we will argue about this.
No,
We're
please.
going to argue about the logo, aren't we?
So the band name I came up with because we had a show and we literally just had to put something down, and because we hadn't done anything yet, we haven't really released any music, we haven't played any shows, so we're like, sick, we'll just use this band name because none of us could agree on anything else. We're like, that's the one we hate the least, we'll change it later.
Yeah.
And then again, here we are.
10 years later,
4 albums.
and too many people have got it tattooed now, so
Yes.
it's sticking.
So
we
we can't change it.
Yeah.
And then the logo of like the hieroglyphics.
It's not hieroglyphics.
Well, it's not hieroglyphics.
This is
It's
why...
like it's Roman numerals, kind of ish.
So,
it's like symbols.
So Andy said to me, Andy went, "We need some kind of symbols that are for the band."
So I came up with
That
it.
didn't know, and then I designed the symbols of the like the arrows and the X and all that stuff. So
We were
I
in the
did
studio
that.
recording the first album.
And then
remember
I
that much.
sent it to Phil,
And Phil did
who
it
designed
properly,
our first ever album artwork and has done like loads of our merch since.
Yep.
And then he basically made it better,
Yes.
so that it made sense, basically.
Yep.
And then it stuck ever since. But we always argue because he says it's his idea because he said we needed
We
some
need to turn it into
symbols.
symbols, yeah.
And I created the symbols, so
I always thought some person on Twitter made it.
No. We were in the studio for the first album.
Yeah, I sat and I was Arthur Wallen was there, and I was just
Yeah.
So it was a joint effort then, really.
Yeah, I guess we can settle on a joint effort.
yeah.
Cool.
I'm taking at least 90%.
Nah, you can have. I came up with the initial idea, so.
No,
you know.
you didn't.
I did.
We all knew it needed to be simple.
This has been an 8-year argument, literally since 20.
Okay, let's take time out then. Let's cause another argument. What's the writing format?
Oh, it's actually quite easy, to be honest. There isn't one.
Writing's so easy because, especially with where we are now as a band, because we're not really. I feel like when we started, it was all very okay. I'm the singer, so I need to write all of the vocals, which I am still a little bit fussy about the vocals.
And you write 99%.
Yeah. But you help me with the occasional word and line.
Yes, when you get stuck on a lyric.
Yeah, and I'm like, I need one thing to fill this in.
Yeah.
Or if like Timmy occasionally comes up with one-liners that I will then write a whole song around
Yes.
so that he can have the line in and
Yes.
stuff. But it used to be very, I don't know, like you wanted to make sure you were doing your part so that, I don't know, you didn't get seen as like slacking on a song, I guess. Whereas now we are A-okay, comfortable with each other. We're all very, like, we are safe in our positions within the band, you know? So we don't really mind so much anymore. So we work really closely with our producer, Alex Kopp, and he helps us track ideas really, really quickly. So we very much now just lay ideas down and we just keep going with it until something clicks and starts working, doesn't it?
And like, it changes every time. So
Yeah.
like, for example, Everything's on Fire started with the bass riff that I wrote. Mayday started with a bare bones track that Timmy had written in terms of instrumental.
Wasn't Carousel weird verse, catchy chorus?
No, that was Mayday.
That was Mayday.
That was Mayday.
That was Mayday.
Mayday was good chorus, weird verse or some shit like that, and then we changed it. And then like Therapy was literally Beth had written all the vocals and then came to us and said, I've written these vocals, write the music around it.
Yeah.
So it changes every time we're writing. There's
I
no
think
real set
it's very
formula.
rare that I will write the lyrics to a piece of music anymore, whereas I feel like that's how we always used to work. You guys used to come up with the full song,
Yes.
and then I used to write to the song. Whereas now I feel like the notes app on my phone is just filled with like random verses and choruses that I've came up with. And normally
Any more
when
you wrote in the studio though? You didn't have that beforehand, did you?
No, I didn't. I did write that one in the studio.
Yeah.
But it's because the minute you started playing
It just came to
anymore,
you.
I was
Yeah.
like, I know what I'm doing, and I just did it.
Yeah, so again, there's no set formula.
Yeah, there's zero formula.
It just, it happens how it happens.
It's a very loose arrangement then.
Yeah.
Something that troubles me, but I've got to ask you, are your lyrics written from personal experiences or from observations?
Both. A lot of both. So I have.
So there's no majority then?
It's probably majority from me.
From your own personal experiences?
There's a lot of observational stuff. I think definitely on the new record, like if we go through it, like Everything's on Fire was, I guess it's personal. For the Plot was about Holly.
Yeah.
Bathroom Floor was about someone else.
Back floors. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fit right. And
Flame Tide was about a video game.
yeah, Flame Tide was a video game. Ready Set Go was a video game.
Ready, Set Go was a
it
video
was all
game.
very. So I feel like this is how I've developed as a songwriter as I've like got older, because when I was younger, obviously, I don't know, I was a lot more angsty. I had a lot more things that I was like, oh, I'm feeling this emotion, I don't know how to deal with it, so I'll write it down. And then But then all of that inspired me to then write the song Therapy, because I was using songwriting as my form of therapy to get everything I was feeling out.
Yeah.
But I'm in a much more happy, stable place now. So I find it really difficult to write about happy topics and things that are like good for me. So now I do a lot of, it's a lot of like, as in For the Plot is written about my best friend because she was going through a lot of relationship problems, which I have to describe every time because For the Plot has some questionable lyrics in it. I had to ring my mum when I wrote it, and I was like, I need you to know that this hasn't happened. This is not to do with me.
That's why I'm greatly troubled. I thought, if this girl has written all these songs, and this, you know, she's had a life of hell. You know, and life's not easy. I know, but you know,
life definitely isn't easy. And as I said, like as I've got older and I've become a much more happy, stable human being, I have had to now take influences from other places. But I feel like that's worked with me, and it's also made me a better songwriter. And now I really enjoy writing when like inspired by other people, inspired by video games, inspired by just what's going on around me. So yeah.
So now you're happily married to Ande. Are we going to see some nice, beautiful love songs? Or
probably not. I wouldn't count on it purely because I don't know, that's just not what comes out of me, I guess.
I'm trying to remember even when we got married versus the first album. Was the first album already out when we got married, or was it just after? I think we just released the first album, so everything post first album we're married anyway. Yeah. And we were together when we were writing the first record, regardless. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm quite relieved. Can I ask you, Beth? Does being the focal point of the band bother you, or do you see it as an advantage?
I don't know. I don't see it either way, I guess. Do you think I see it as anything? I wouldn't say so, because I don't particularly...
I think there's more pressure on you than there is on me and Timmy, because you're writing the lyrics, and people get so attached to the lyrics that sometimes some of the fans feel like you've connected with them.
We have like a few people who do that. Is it social I can't remember the word for it. Parasocial relationship.
Yeah,
things like that.
Which isn't, you know, it's just something you've got to manage, but it's just a lot more pressure on you than, for example, me or Timmy. Like, I don't feel like the fans feel connected to us in the same way that they do with you with the lyrics.
I feel like I struggle a lot with the pressure side of it, I guess. Like, it's even things like when we're on tour, like when I see you guys all like going out and drinking and going to bars and having fun, and I'm like, I've got to get back on the bus, have a green tea and sleep so that I can sing tomorrow. Yeah. Things like that, that's when it starts to like bug me a little bit. But also, I don't think I'd change it. Like, I love, and I think that's being the front woman, I think, has made me like the person who I was. Like, if I think back to the first ever As December Falls show, I was hiding behind a mic stand, I was so nervous, I was so scared. Whereas now when I go on stage, I become this As December Falls Bethany persona, and I'm so confident. And I really think that's helped me in day-to-day life, just be a little bit more forward. Like simple things like making phone calls. Like, I used to be so nervous about doing like basic things like that. And I think being able to stand up for myself in this environment has just made me a much more confident person. So there's pros and cons. There's a lot of pressure, but it's worth it. It's helped me become who I am. So
one thing that with what you were just saying, Ande, what you may not have realised is that live, you and Timmy, you do your share with connecting with the crowd and you know, manipulating the audience and getting them to do stuff, and so you know, you have your part to play. It's not sort of
we absolutely do. But
I think the jobs are just different, because it's also stuff like, as in, I don't know how to patch in any of our gear, you know, like.
But I think for me and Timmy, it's like, especially live as well. Like, we're entertainers. Like, we're there to put on a show and entertain the audience. Whereas for some audience members that maybe struggle or have mental health issues or have, you know, are going through things, they're the ones connecting with the lyrics, and so that gets a little bit heavy for you specifically, especially when you get like messages around those kind of topics.
Yeah.
And you know, and again, Timmy and I just don't get that as much as you do because we don't write the lyrics.
Yeah.
But both you and Timmy are very vocal with the audience during the show, which is really important because you know you're saying that Beth's under pressure, but you kind of take that pressure off, and not kind of deliberately, but it's just the kind of guys you are, and you're so it's like a three-pronged attack with a boring drummer sitting at the back bashing tin lids and making a noise, you know. So
no, I've always been very adamant that I do not want to front this band on my own. Like, yes, I'm singing every song, but I never want to play a show where you guys don't say something or speak to the crowd as well. Like, because I want everyone to connect with the full band because we're a band. I don't want it to be a project where they're like, oh, I know the singer, she's got blue hair, her name's Beth, blah blah blah. Like, I want them to fit, like, it's not a Beth project, it's as December Falls, you know. So I've always been very adamant that I want you guys very involved when it comes to the
but on that note, Beth, do you see yourself as maybe setting a path for other young female rock singers?
Absolutely, 100%. I've had people run up to me like mid shows and stuff and been like, oh my god, I've started a band and it's because of you. And I love that so much. Like, there needs to be way more females in the music industry. So if I get one person to start a band, I've nailed it. I'm doing my job, you know.
Okay, I've got 3 questions here. I'm gonna morph them into one for all 3 of you, if that's okay. Cool. The first one is probably for Beth. Are there any talented female singers you particularly like? Then the second one is, are there any talented guitar players that you like? And finally, are there any up and coming bands you would recommend?
Lots of questions.
Well, you know.
I think my favourite female fronted artist at the moment would be South Arcade.
Agreed.
I can't stop listening to them.
Retweet.
Literally, they're just on repeat on my phone all the time.
But there's so many that we love, like,
there's
you know,
so
Stand
many.
Atlantic. There's
obviously Red Hook. We've just had those out with us, and
there's
I
Taylor
miss
Raycole
them
and Charlotte
so much.
Sands. I miss Red Hook. I love them so much. There's loads of bands that we love that we've had the joy of playing festivals with, like Honey Revenge are amazing. Tons.
It's good for our listeners to hear what young bands like you are listening to and who they recommend, you see. So, because, you know, a lot of the bands you've mentioned here, I haven't got a clue who we're talking about, you know, and I know that the people in Spain will be thinking the same thing, but that's what we're here to do, you know, that's my job. So I'll ask this question, and I ask it always because we run a classic rock radio show, but I'll simplify it a little bit, and I'll say, do you think rock music is underrepresented at the moment? Normally I say, is it classic rock that's underrepresented?
Making a bit of a comeback.
I find that a really difficult question, just because, you know, because we're in the industry, it feels like it's everywhere, but I don't know what it's like from an outsider's perspective.
I think music ebbs and flows, and I think what has happened over the last 2 decades with the advance of technology is that it has become more accessible, and a band like us would not have been able to exist 20, 30 years ago without a label. The fact that, like, you know, we've had a top 20 album, a top 10 album, completely independent with no label. We would not have been able to do that 20 years ago because we just wouldn't be able to pay for the studio time. And so because of that, I think actually there's thousands and thousands more bands than there ever have been because it's so easy to do now, price-wise. Like, the barrier to entry is much, much lower. But on the flip side, I don't see many bands breaking to that level of stardom, like the Guns N' Roses of the 80s, like Nirvana in the early 90s. Like, you know, rock in that sense has kind of like lost the edge to rap and pop to a certain extent. But it's a trade I'm quite happy with.
I don't know. Like, I think if you look at bands like Bring Me the Horizon
and Sleep Token.
But
dude, that's like 2 in the last 10 years. How many more are there? Like, if you actually look at like Download, for example, who's headlining Download in 20 years?
Yeah.
It's Bring Me and Sleep Token right now. I can't think of anyone else from like this era that's got to that like level of not just like arenas, but
it's got to be like the epic
you got to think
level.
like stadium level. Like, who is that? It's not many.
Well, maybe as December Falls in the near future.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe maybe it'll be us in 20 years. I doubt it, but it would be nice, wouldn't it?
Okay. Is there anything going on behind the scenes that I can report to our listeners as an exclusive?
You're in charge of what we're allowed to say, so.
Yeah, but I just leak stuff.
You do leak stuff.
I do leak stuff. I mean, we're working on new music. There will probably be a new song in the next 4 weeks. I probably can say that much.
Well, I've already told them that,
Fine.
to be fair, so that's fine.
So yeah, there should be a new song before the B-Market tour in February. And then we're working on stuff for the rest of the year. Maybe we'll make our first appearance in the US, which would be sick, if we can get that sorted. So yeah, a couple of tidbits that might be happening.
I asked Bethany to record a message for the listeners in the style of Michael Caine's famous speech in The Italian Job, where he says in a Cockney accent, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off." This is how it turned out. Stop it. Stop it. All these are outtakes as I'm actually filming right now. Okay, right. Ready?
Yes.
I wish I hadn't bloody told you now. You know what's coming, don't you? Now come on, professional. Come on. Right. Finally, what message do you have for the listeners who tune into Bendover's Raised on Radio on Valley FM every Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. London time?
Hello everyone, this is Bethany Hunter from As December Falls, and I just want to say, keep listening to Ben Dover's Raised on Radio, the show that's only supposed to blow the bloody doors off of classic rock. That went so Australian.
That was brilliant.
That was the worst London accent in the world.
Would you like to have another go?
Just stick
Fine. We're going with Australia.
Okay, Andy?
I think I've spent too
Could you
much
give us
time
one?
around.
What am I doing? What, the exact same?
No, just give,
do the
give
same
a message to
and do
the...
an accent, please.
Oh, if you want to.
Oh, for God's sake. Hello, this is Andy Hunter from As December Falls, and I just want to say keep listening to Ben Dover's Raised on Rock, the show that's only supposed to blow the bloody doors off of classic rock.
I thought you were to do a different thing.
I thought it was Cockney.
I thought you meant to say a different message.
Oh, a different message. Oh,
Right, so
oh,
now-
I've got one below. Sorry, I missed it.
That's all right. So we go again and just make one up and from the heart and put it over to the listeners. Do you want me to take that off of you so you can think?
What am I doing?
You're just going to give a message to the listeners, a personal message to the people in the Orba Valley.
People in the Orba Valley. This is
Your countrymen.
This is I, Andy Hunter, a fellow countryman. Thanks a lot for listening to the show. I hope you've enjoyed the interview. Maybe check out a couple of our tunes, and I hope you dig them. Yeah.
Lovely. And Timmy?
Hello. Thank you for listening and watching this interview.
You can tell you haven't had a mic very long. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah, just tell them that. You're doing great, sweetie, from Timmy.
I thought you were going to say the Chewbacca thing that you normally do.
You know, mate, it's me, Chewbacca from Space Film.
Every soundtrack.
Hooray.
Okay. Bethany, Andy, Timmy, thank you for talking to me today. Raised on Radio promises to play your music, support and promote you in any way we can. One last little thing. The final shot on YouTube of the video for Bathroom Floor, where you're kneeling down, would look fantastic as a poster and a t-shirt.
We have.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Maybe.
We've got the hair whip shot.
We've got the
as
hair
well.
whip shot. Yes, the hair whip shot.
Yeah.
Maybe as a poster. Whip. Maybe as a poster. That might be a thing. Called whip.
Well, listeners, if Ace December Falls decides to put that on a t-shirt, you heard it here from me first. Anyway, listen, thank you all so much.
Thank you, Beth.
I love you guys to bits, and I can't wait to see you again tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Amazing.
I've just got back from a fantastic night at Kingston College and wanted to record something I saw while it was still fresh in my mind. After the show, I sat at the merch stand talking to the lovely Amy, who told me she'd been a friend of Bethany's for many years. People came and went, buying CDs, t-shirts, etc., until the crowd withered away, leaving one young lady called Luna from Basingstoke sitting waiting patiently. She told me she was hoping the band would come out and that she could get some photos and autographs. Kieran, the drummer, appeared, chatted to her for a few minutes and had some photos taken, and then disappeared backstage. Around 11 p.m, she was about to give up and go home when Kieran came out again and I had a quiet word. Kieran told me that Bethany had taken her makeup off, etc., etc. So I said, "Look, Kieran, tell Bethany I asked her especially to come out because it will make this girl's night." He disappeared again, then came back and said to me, 5 minutes on the quiet. 5 minutes later, Bethany, Ande and Timmy appeared, chatted with Luna, signed some personal items and had photographs taken with her. Now, an hour's drive to Basingstoke is one thing, but a 4-hour drive back to Nottingham is a totally different ballgame. And it's understandable that the band would want to hit the road as soon as possible, yet they didn't hesitate to spend time with Luna. They say they couldn't do it without the fans, and this wonderful gesture shows the kind of people they are. Bethany, Ande and Timmy were very friendly throughout the interview and entered into the spirit of the Putney Oracle's world of insanity, even when I mistakenly thought that they were newlyweds. As December falls are the People's Band. Luna will testify to that.